I think this is probably the latest that I have ever done a review during my 3 years of doing these review videos of these MLS games, and not even during the MLS's back tournament, where I think the latest game during that tournament was SKC versus Vancouver when they went to a penalty kick shootout. That game did not end like right now. That just ended around 11 o'clock my time, 1 a.m. right now in Frisco, and 2 a.m. in the East Coast. But that being said, the game, of course, was delayed for about 3.5 hours, and it didn't kick off until 11:07 p.m. because of lightning. And overall, despite the fact that we had to wait 3.5 hours of this game, some will say that, it was disappointed the fact that we saw a 0-0 draw in this game. But I say, for 2/3 of this game, there was definitely some exciting action that has happened, and definitely more action than what we saw in the 2/3 part of this game that we saw pretty much on what happened on Wednesday night. And if you're a Nashville fan and after seeing the first 2/3 of the game, you probably are kicking yourself wondering how did they not score a goal in the first 2/3 part of this game. Now, both Jara and Odronic actually start in this game for FC Dallas, so this is something that I talked about during the preview of whether or not if Luchi Gonzalez is going to go with Jara or Cobra in this game, and it seemed like he decided to go with both of those players. But it's a shame that both of these players had a very quiet night because Dallas was being very quiet going forward on the attack, and they just had no service whatsoever in this game. Players, of course, remain in the locker room when the anthem is played. Well, they were in the locker room for a very long time because of the delay, but I'm pretty sure they were in the locker room even longer when they were pretty much announced that we are ready to go again, because they decided to not show up when the anthem is played, and I don't really need to explain or go too much detail of why exactly that, of course, is the case. But at least the players did take a knee before the game starts, and I didn't really hear any boos in the stands, so it seemed like things are working out in the end, and that I think the Dallas supporter group even had like kind of a little mini tifo of them condemning the Black Lives Matter movement, and that they of course support that movement. And speaking of fans, I'm kind of surprised that there were actually still fans watching this game. Like, I was expecting, since this game is going to be kicking off at 11 o'clock on a Sunday evening and heading into Monday early morning, I thought for sure that it's probably going to be a total empty stadium at Toyota Stadium for this game. But instead, there was definitely more fans than I expected to be after such a long rain delay. But that being said, there was probably, I would say, about 100 fans left in the stadium, and they didn't really kind of make a lot of noise. And that it kind of felt like I was watching kind of a game that was playing behind closed door rather than a game where there's actually fans in the stands in this one. Now, in the first half, and just 8 minutes into this game, Hani Mokhtar almost got the opening goal on the free kick as he just bends that one wide off the right side of the post. Then Jara would miss probably his only chance of this game when he missed a free header from 5 yards out. 4 minutes later, it's Dom Baji time to miss a free header. This time he missed a free header from 10 yards out, although I will say that this one was kind of a little bit too high toward him, and that he just kind of unable to kind of reach to that one to basically head it in. But either way, he was just wide open in the box, and I was wondering who in the world was actually marking Dom Baji in the back post. Like, where in the world did the FC Dallas defense win in terms of that? The pace of this game was much faster in the first 15 minutes, but obviously a lot of that has to do with the temperature of this game was dramatically cooler than it was on Wednesday night. Like, the kickoff temperature, I think it was only 71 degrees, and although there was still 80% humidity in this game, the rain and the thunderstorm definitely kind of lowered a little bit of that feeling of the humidity, and that I don't think the players were really feeling the 80% humidity, and that again, this game was about 30 degrees cooler than the other night, so obviously the action was going to be much faster than what we saw back on Wednesday. Now, in the 32nd minute, Jimmy Mara would deny both Johnston and Leo with an incredible double save. Jimmy Mara, I think he was really the reason why Dallas were able to get a point out of this game and really didn't concede a goal in this game, because he made some very incredible saves, and at times he kind of had to stood on his head a little bit as Nashville was really pushing for that opening goal and really trying to test the young Dallas goalkeeper. Nashville, of course, as I said, they look threatening, but again, just no end product whatsoever for this team, and this would kind of be one of the downfall, if not the downfall in this game, of the reason why they weren't able to get a goal. But it's not for lack of trying, because in the second half, they kind of picked off where they left off in terms of really testing Maurer and really going forward on the attack to trying to get a goal. While Dallas, they looked like they were second best heading into the second half. And, you know, Dallas, for majority of this game, they were definitely not the better team. I mean, maybe besides the first 5 minutes or the first 10 minutes where it was kind of a little bit end-to-end action, Nashville was actually controlling this game. Like, they were really dictating the pace of the game, which that was not what I expected, consider they're a team that are more used to just kind of sit back and trying to counter teams. So, you know, it was kind of surprised to see that Nashville was really just dominating this game and having some chances in the game. One of them came in the hour mark when Mara was able to deny Annabelle Godoy a chance to get the opener. And then in the 64th minute, it looked like we were going to have our opening goal, because when Don Baji strikes that one, it looked like it was going to go into the back of the net, only it was hit off the post. And that was probably the closest we came throughout this whole night in terms of the first chance that we, or that was really the closest we have came in terms of potentially get the opening goal, but we stayed 0-0 up until that point. And that after that, I thought the game kind of slowed down a little bit, and Nashville kind of didn't really have as much chances as they pretty much had for majority of the game. And up until that point, we pretty much reached the 2/3 mark of the game. And you notice I mentioned 2/3 a lot during this video. That's because the last 1/3 of the game, yeah, it was definitely not that exciting, and we were kind of revert back to the problem we had on Wednesday, which is it was kind of a very slow pace kind of game, and both teams was not sharp whatsoever in the final third. But at least Dallas started to kind of have some possession and started to try to get back into this game and maybe score a surprising late goal. But either way, the last 10 minutes, both teams just looked like they were kind of out of gas and they were going to try to settle for a point in this. Both teams did try to get the winner of the last 5 minutes of this game, and you notice how I put the word try with quotation mark, because it was more like both teams was just trying to hopefully maybe hit one from outside the box, or maybe just look for one lucky bounce off of a through ball that will send someone through. Because yeah, it definitely felt like both teams was trying to play for a draw, and that they'll just take their points heading into the next game in a couple of days. And in the end, it ends in a scoreless draw between both of these teams. Shots in this game, Nashville actually had 21 shots compared to 12 that Dallas had. 7 shots on goal compared to 1 that Dallas had. 7 shots off target compared to 5 that Dallas had. 7 shots that was blocked compared to 6 that Dallas had. And possession-wise, 64% possession compared to 36% possession. And, you know, for Nashville, they will be satisfied that they were able to get a point out of this. And getting 4 points on the road against Dallas in these first 2 games is definitely something that they will definitely take. But obviously, I think in some way they feel like they probably could have got 3 points in this game. But that's not to take away with the performance that Jimmy Maurer did in this game, and that I think he's going to be the man of the match coming out of this game. Consider he made some really big save to keep this one at 0-0 and really keep Dallas from preventing to go down at any point of this game. Well, for Dallas, yeah, it is pretty clear that something's got to to change in terms of the attacking end of this team. Like, these first two games, the attack has been pretty much non-existent so far for this team. And I understand, you know, we're only 2 games back for both of these teams, and I'm pretty sure these players are still trying to find some match fitness and trying to find their sharpness that they've been missing for 5.5 months. But it's getting to a point where you're going to have to eventually find that match fitness and really need to start putting in the goals, because if this Dallas team is going to continue to struggle in terms of scoring goal, then they're going to have the same issue that Nashville kind of is dealing with right now, which is they're going to get a lot of these 0-0 and 1-0 resort, and those are not the resort that you want to potentially have some hope of making the playoffs at the end of the season. But that being said, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this game? And again, I know it was a 0-0 draw, and you know, for the last part of the game, I'm pretty sure people were starting to fall asleep as we were getting deeper into the night. But overall, I thought this game was much better than what we saw on Wednesday. And I think on Tuesday, when the Whitecaps take on Toronto FC, I expect the game to have a little bit more action, because both of those teams have only been not playing in more than 3 weeks, so they should be a little bit more sharp than how these teams have just recently played their first 2 games in over 5.5 months. But yeah, we shall see how that game is going to go, and as always, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this one? And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.